Jim, here's a question from Judy. What would be an example of this, quote, baggage that will not go with us?
The baggage that will not go with you is your judgments, your resentments, those emotions where you have been insulted and you choose not to look at that. I was hurt. I didn't like it the first time. I don't want to look at it a second time. And you've stuffed that. And to a great extent, whether you think it went away and it's not there, it has been organizing and having a play in your personality your entire life, whether you are conscious of it or not conscious of it. It's like having an extra half-pound rock in your backpack, and you say, well, it's not that bad. Well, it's not that bad for the first mile, or maybe even the second mile. But once you start walking that 10th and 20th and 100th and 500th mile in life, that little half-pound insult begins to take its toll. It's part of the aging process. Now, third-dimensional folks are going to find that that stuff has to come out. Have you ever seen somebody who stuffs everything? You watch them in a situation where they were just insulted again, and they stand there and they bite their tongue, and their face tightens up, and you know this is an explosion that's long overdue, and yet they say, okay, I'll do it again. And they go about and they do it again. You're going to see the next time it happens, they're going to say, that's it. And you'll see an explosion, and you'll see this rage just begin to come out of them. And they may do it right in front of you. And it may have absolutely nothing to do with you, except you just kind of picked your nose in front of them. If you are not grounded and not owning your space and not aware that these things are happening, you may wind up getting offended. But if you've cleaned that out of your space, when that person explodes in front of you, you can stand there and say, that must be very painful to have carried all these years. Why don't we just sit down and talk about it? And all of a sudden you'll have hours of stuff coming out. 25 years ago, he said, 25 years you've been carrying that half-pound rock. Yes, they'll say. And when they're done, they'll smile and thank you. And they won't remember those 25 years from that point on. That's the baggage I'm talking about. Every one of us has a little piece of that here and there in the mental body, the emotional body, stored in the physical body as a very tight muscle set. Yeah, my shoulder's been like this for about 20 years. Well, when did it happen? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's been all my life. No, it hasn't been all your life. And you watch their physiology change after that explosion and the release. And all of a sudden they stand up and they go, wow, my shoulder hasn't moved like this for 25 years. That's what is going to come out of people in the third dimension, because they don't have the skills, the tools, the applications, the understanding that you have available to you. They just explode. And there's a lot more of them at the moment than there are of light workers. And yet, there's enough light workers to make vision for all of them smooth. You are on the brink of the most amazing thing. You stood in line to get a body to come to this point in time in this game. You said, pleaded, begged the Creator, send me. And here you are. That's what you're witnessing at this time. That little bit of baggage that I'm talking about is the difference between knowing these reference points and thinking these reference points. It's hard to describe the fullness of the reference points. Let me add one piece. Let me see if this works. The ability to hold your hand out and think apple, and the apple appears in your hand, is an impossibility in the third dimension. In the fourth dimension, it is a limited possibility in the fifth dimension without access to the sixth and the seventh. But once you understand how to begin to draw the energies from the non-physical into a geometry of an apple in your hand, and do it with the applications of love, changing the frequencies of thought, altering the harmonics of matter, the definition of alchemy, that apple will appear in your hand every single time you think it. That is fully available to you right now without your baggage. That's a reference point. Now just think about that. If you could do that, would you stop at an apple? I doubt it. Would you start to say, I'd like this kind of a house, I'd like this kind of environment? But more importantly than your material wants, third, fourth dimension, you would start to create graciousness and well-being for all in the house to participate. You would start to find your experiences of personal ascension, the ability to create the apple in your hand, will be applied to creating an environment to uplift and nurture and bring forth the fullness of every human being on this planet into a fifth and sixth dimensional consciousness. You see, you have so much passion for your brothers and sisters, even though in third dimension it's like, are you kidding? In a fifth dimensional space, you will be so focused on the opportunity as the alchemist to begin to change the environment, to create nurturing and kindness, to sit and call forth the flower out of the ground so that you can speak with it and admire it. That's what you will do as a higher fifth, sixth, seventh dimensional being. You are a breath away from attaining that. And with the advent of this Christed energy coming back onto the planet, your ability to enter into that level of consciousness is one breath away with your focus. There is your reference point.